Hey, what's up there? Thank you for checking in. This is your girl Marisha of Embody Fitness, your health and wellness coach. Yep, that's me all in one. I hope you're doing well. I'm back here again, wanted to talk to you about your transition to being a vegan. and, or you already being one, or just like, your phase in general, right? Your phase into it, your transition, you being there if you're like there already, if you're not, you past the transition phase, all of that. Um, let's get right into it. So, transitioning or even wanting to move to this lifestyle 10 years ago was a challenge. And I know people who were in that phase in my family who were there before me more than 10 years ago. So the further back you go, you know that the more challenging it seemed for certain people. Because again, like I say all the time, when you are not aware of something, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. And it's just like, when you rent a car, or even if you, or with somebody who rents a car, um, you won't see that car as frequent until after you've rented it or in it currently or after, because you never pay no mind to it. You don't need to pay attention to it. So I feel like a lot of things were accessible, but it was still challenging the further back it was, because you had to work for everything then. Nothing was like given to us like how the phone, you open your phone and you say, Google or Siri, whatever, and then things pop up for you. Back then you had the encyclopedia, you had to go to the library, you had to call somebody by the landline, you had to go and visit somebody, you had to go to the farm. It wasn't instant, right? As instant as it is now. So transitioning today, I bring all that up to say that transitioning today, it is a little easier. And I feel like as time goes on, the transitioning for folks will be easier and get easier. And I also say that to say, I know a lot more people are transitioning to this whole veganism more so for health than taste. Because there are some people out there who just do it for taste and they don't really give a damn about ingredients. They don't care. They're just like, I want it to look like, feel like, when I chew it, I want it to remind me of the cow, but I don't want to kill the cow. Okay? So there are some people who like that. And I have in my head something that maybe I'll talk about in another video. The correlation with having to have this texture and this thing remind you of something is a bond. A bond that is positive that needs to change to be a negative one, right? But anyway, yeah, again, so I think a lot of people are, and from my experience of what I've seen, what I've heard, and people talking to me and what I watch and all that stuff, a lot of people are transitioning now more than ever because of health matters. And, it is a popular trend right now to be vegan. Like in the streets, people be like, oh, okay, you vegan? And I just tell people, I wind up correcting them, but I just tell them, okay, yeah, you know what, like for the streets, that's the nickname. You could call me outside. You could call me the vegan, right? But I'm going to just explain to you what it is. And this is me having a conversation with the person or people who are calling me that. I say vegan because it's easier for you to say. Like that's like the nickname that I'll give myself because you can't say my name correctly. So yeah, I'll be vegan for now, but my real name is Whole food consumption woman, right? But you can't say that. You don't know how to say that yet. So I know that you were trying. So I said, okay, you know what would be nice? You could call me vegan. And that's the name we're going to go with. Like, people call me Mo for short because for whatever reason, Marisha is hard for some people to say. They just be like all over the place with my name. I said, you know what? Call me Mo. So we could just kill that because, yeah. But a lot of people are transitioning more so now because of health matters. And that's not a problem. Not a problem at all. But because you have it easier now, and because times are getting easier with getting access to information much quicker, you are now liable to read what you are putting in your mouth, because a lot of the things that these vegans are eating are lab made. So if you are new to transitioning and you still want to have that texture, that meat, I get it, but don't stay there long. Keep it moving. Keep it moving, folks. It's not a lifestyle to stay there. Just like you're not going to be the same age forever. You're only there for 365. You get ready for your next born day, and then you shoot to the next level. That's literally how you should move with your health. That's actually a great ballpark game to say if you want to need a marker guidance. Use your reference of when you change your age. Use that whole gauge to do what it is that you need to do for that. Like, you want to remove chicken and you want to take that whole year to do that. Boom, by your next born day, you should be done with it. And keep using that gauge. Now if you could go faster and do 6-month marks, that's even better. But because you have access to all of this information, and not like the folks who transitioned back then, who, 1 + 1 is 2. So we already know that vegetables and fruit help us elongate our lives. And eating stuff, wholesome foods, and cooking them and know what's in it is great. But now, because the whole veganism thing has become popular and everybody wants to do it, they're just slamming stuff to you. And they say, oh, flavor is what they like. Let's give them that. They're not going to read it. So now you are responsible for knowing what you're putting in your body more than ever. You have to read your labels, especially if you're eating things that are processed, right? Like, I feel like there are some things that we may consume that's in a package, like quinoa or wild rice, or if you're into the flours, like I'm moving away from that. That's where I'm at in my life right now, moving the flours away. But the kamut flour, the spelt flour, chickpea flour, you make sure you're turning things around and you're reading it. I wouldn't recommend eating any beans in a can, but if you do it, again, transition from that. So you want to go from the beans in the can to now doing the dry beans and soaking your stuff yourself, so that you can just literally get only the beans and you add whatever you want to your beans after you cook them and soak them, cook them, however you eat them. But you literally have to be mindful, because it's like a catch-22, right? It's quicker now, it's easier, everything is so much easier to do now, but it's more shit and shit. Like, it's no guarantee that you are consuming something that's going to elongate your life. People are like, oh yeah, okay, I'm vegan. And I'm just like, okay, that's great that you are. That's not knocking you, but that's not the final step. That is a step, not the final step. If you have issues in your life, back to these ailments, there's a lot of people, a lot of women who are dealing with fertilization issues. Men, you are included, because it takes 2 to make a thing go right. We know that. We have a lot of young men balding, a lot of women balding, reproductive issues in both parties, minus the sex. I'm talking about PCOS, fibroids. For women, I could go on and on with that. The men, we having erection issues. These are not just common folk thing, This is something that should be raising a red flag to you and your people around you to be mindful and look at your life and see what you're doing. Where can you remove something so that now you can make space for something? Where can you remove something dark to make space for something light? We have to find a balance. It's just too much darkness happening here, and ain't nothing shining on nothing. It's so dark. Remove something so you can get a little bit more light. Then something else. Then something else. And then keep on. Find that balance. It's too much drinking. It's too much smoking. There's too many negatives, and you have to correlate both. I find it so funny. I'm not even going to say weird, but I find it funny in not a funny way that people can be parents, people know from right from wrong, but they won't apply it to themselves. So I tell people all the time, be careful how you talk around me, because if I'm going to give an example like ABC, right? We talk about A being your work life, B being your romantic life, and then C being your health. And if I listen to you and I hear you talk about A and B so eloquently, so detailed, and how you want this and this, you have lists, you have books, you do this, you do that, you execute all these things, and then when you get to C, it does not add up. I don't see it. So I will ask you and say, so what did you tell me about A and B again? And then I'm being rhetoric when I say that too. And I'm like, well, how come you're not applying it to C? And then the real answers start coming out. You can't be lazy when it comes to yourself. You take care of your car, you take care of your outside of your body, you take showers, you wash your hair, you make sure you look good when you're out in them streets. But you could be this little and still carry a dis-ease that will knock you off this earth. People think their weight, oh well, she's skinny, I'm skinny, he's skinny. They're doing amazing. Okay, go get a colonic, and I bet you. I wish they. Well, I'm not even big on X-rays anymore, but a colonic will let you know what's going on inside you. There are the only thing with skinny or slim people is that you don't notice the issues as quick as you would in somebody else big. So a lot of people, they say, oh my gosh, she was slim, she was healthy. That's the appearance you got. But if you get your blood work done, and don't wait again till things start happening, your blood work, you get your checkups, get the basic stuff done, get it checked, and then you work on that with your herbs at home and what you're consuming, your wholesome foods, and then you'll find that balance. Do not wait until something drastic happens for you to start starting. Having a moment where I wanted to go with that. You don't wait until it is life or death or, transition time to say, hey, I want to get it together. Just because we're young doesn't mean anything. I utilize, now I know where I was going, I utilize my health insurance simply to go to the doctor just to I want the base done. Like, yeah, they studied these things. That does not mean they know everything accurately. But let me just use this as a small guide. Or find a holistic practitioner, or do your own work, or do it everything together and get it done. Find a partner who wants to move forward in doing the same thing, because it's already a challenge to do things for yourself. I can speak wholeheartedly for that. Being the change I seek does not come easy. Initially it didn't. Alright, because when you want to start something and get in the habit, you got to get your groove. And sometimes that can be challenging being around people who are of low vibrations and just be trying to screw you over. Um, but try to find yourself a partner, and if not, you gotta stand 10 toes down. A lot of this information I put out is rhetoric and repetitive, but repetition makes the master. So, as I say this to you, I say it back to myself. Find yourself someone, and if you're already locked in a relationship, do you. Put the blinders on. Stay focused. It's tunnel vision. My parents, a lot of my family still consume meat. Okay? They've dumbed down, but they still consume it. Does that mean I don't live with them? Or stay with them? Or visit them? Or let them come to my house? No. That doesn't mean that I just have my stuff. Got my own pans. Got my own pots and strainers and glass for my teas, my limes, my key limes. When we go shopping, I make sure to make time, my list ahead of time of what I'm getting, and just have everything down. And again, especially now being in this era of transitioning, there is no excuse now because you literally have it within arm's reach. You have books, papers, access to so many vloggers, so many influencers, research online now. You don't have to actually go read the book anymore if you don't want to. I still like books. Speaking of books, let me show y'all this book right here, The Pleasure Trap. It is not a sex book. Just want to say that. I'm almost done. But this book here, this is the authors. See that? It is a great read. I'm looking over here. I swear I got it. Anyway. Great read. But just being mindful. Literally. Always make room for growth. Every day that you're here is an opportunity to grow more and be stronger in who you are. And there is no excuse now. So tell people, yeah, I'm vegan, but I'm still growing. I used to tell people all the time I'm a growing vegan because the world's concept of veganism is everything. Like, don't you wearing leather, you wearing, you got this from a mine where cows do this or you do that. So I tell people I'm a growing vegan. If that's the word, if they title that you want to go with, then that's no biggie. But just be mindful that people are gonna watch you harder when you say these terms. As you can say, hey, I'm just a conscious eater. That's literally my point of conversation with folks, is so that you can be more conscious. I have people who are not even vegan, and they are more conscious when I'm around of what they're consuming. They're more conscious of what they give me because they know I don't play that. I will take you offer me something. Hey Mo, you want this? I'm like, yeah. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I could read all of this, but this sounds like this was made in the lab. I don't want any of this extra stuff. I just want to read and say like mushrooms only, or bell peppers, or I actually want to just pick the item up and it just be whatever it's supposed to be without me having to turn it over. That's the whole trip for me, growing and getting there. So I hope that today you listening and tuning in here, you may have a different perspective about the whole veganism thing, the whole term, the access to information, and just where you stand. So find your middle ground in there, and get strong, and then water yourself so that you can continue to grow. Do not stay where you are. Continue to grow. Until next time, you know it. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.